Patrick, what is going on? How are you?
I am pretty dang good. I didn't get to the yard yesterday. See the Twins once again avoid sweeping. They all three home game, all three series. They won the first two, right? And then
Correct.
had a chance to sweep on the last day.
Yep.
Yeah, yesterday was disappointing because of the lack of hitting. Although I think that Keller is going to they got him signed through 2028 or something. I got to think that Pittsburgh is gonna make a nice trade for him for somebody like the Dodgers or people that are desperate for starting pitching. Was
Yes.
he in Kansas City for a while? Was he Keller? Is that the Keller that was in Kansas City? I'm not sure, but have as many teams as are short of starters right now. He'd look pretty good with the Twins, but I don't think we're.
You
I
don't
don't
think they're
think we. I don't think we should be doing trading too much based on the idea that this could be a championship season. I just don't see it that
no,
way.
no.
Although
Mm-hmm.
I will say the Buxton game on Saturday was quite the performance, to say the least. He goes 5 for 5 and rides the cycle. But to me, the most impressive hit, Judd, was that hopper to shortstop, hit right at the shortstop. Shortstop had a little footwork problem, right? Of
Yeah.
what, for an eighth of a second? And he's safe. He's safe. It's
I
unbelievable how he beat that one out. And it wasn't enough of a misplay to call it an error. He just beat it out. And it was phenomenal, and then he goes 5 for 5, and everybody there. I was surprised they only had 26 for that game.
yeah.
I thought the Buck truck would pack them in just like the Royce Lewis bobblehead did. Although this was a smaller bobblehead, maybe the bobblehead nation wants the bigger
No, this was a good
bobblehead.
size. Look at this
Was
one.
it?
Here it is.
Yeah, I guess it's not bad.
That's a decent size. Yeah, I thought they'd get 30,
Yeah, I did
but
too,
they
for
were
sure.
gone quick. They were. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they
those things are
were.
gone, and no, in because to your point, people line up at 7 in the
Yes.
morning or whatever it is.
Yeah, they get there, and I don't know how many, grab the bobblehead and turn around. And I'm still a believer in, if you're going to order 10,000 of them, order 15,000 of them, because if you know they're going to go, why not give out give away 15,000, 20,000? I don't get it. It's still a what's it cost you? What do you think? $6, $7 to make the
That's a
bobblehead?
good question. I don't
Yeah,
know.
6, $7 max. Put them in the box, shipping and everything. 6, $7. Why not? You're gonna pack them in.
Yeah,
Why not 20,000? Get more people in there.
it's a good
And of
question.
course, there's this one guy. I don't want to mention his name, who had quite the conspiracy suggestion on Friday night that back in the days of Calvin, when we would have the people still outside trying to get into the place once in a while, they got, remember that opening day that they were surprised way back when, and all of a sudden they get 35. They were expecting 12, and they got 35,000 on this great day, and they stopped. They wanted to get them in there to buy what were then $3 beers, and we had Nellie going, and I think Nellie's crowd might not been totally familiar with going to ball games, right?
Yes.
And they didn't
Yeah.
know when they had to get there, so they just thought they'd show up and walk in. Had the huge line in front. What there was, 500 deep on the line. Each line was 500 deep, and suddenly they're bringing out the tarp, and there was three sprinkles of rain up in
Yes.
Hinkley or something, and they're bringing out the tarp. I
Yes.
think they, I think this person who shall go nameless was probably correct that
I appreciate the cover. Thank you.
they decided to have a half-hour rain delay. As I actually put it in the online column I wrote that those $15 beers don't buy themselves. If you
No,
got
they
one,
don't. And they
if
sold what 40,100, right?
yes, 40,100, and it was. I gotta admit, I didn't have to write for the paper was long gone, so there wasn't you didn't have the usual deadline problem. I got the heck out of Dodge after the game and got in the ramp and got out of there because on Tuesday I'd been there with the bride and her sisters. Her whole family was there, and we were 35 minutes getting out of there. And Tuesday was, what was that crowd? That was a good crowd. But
30
30,
plus, 33 or
30,
something.
yeah, and that's man. What was there no when they put these ramps right next to the ballpark and the stadium and was there no thinking of what's it going to be like after the game when we got
The ramps were there though. So
I
like
know.
the
Oh yeah,
so
well, was the ramp already there when Target Field was built?
yes,
Okay.
those ramps were done. Now they might have been done in 90 around the time of Target Center. I don't remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah, there must
But
have been.
those ramps were never intended, I don't think, for baseball crowds.
No, no, they're probably for. Yeah, you're right. Probably for 18,000 for basketball, which is, back in the day was about 11,000 for basketball a lot of the time. So when they first got in there, so I guess that's probably it. But there's got to be, at least basically they're trying to. If you got somebody who got there real early, you might as well just put up the gate and let them go, right? This idea that you got to stop at the gate and have the arm come up and everything when a lot of people are trying to get out of there, that doesn't work. Now the one over there down by that gas station that's at the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Once in a while, they get so frustrated they just put the gate up and let you breeze on out of there. That can be the greatest bargain in parking. You
So
know.
they are you supposed to pay there? Because
Yeah,
now
you
in
can't
the
pay
A
going
ramp
in.
they get you
Yeah,
going in.
yeah, but they don't have anyone there to get you going in down at that other ramp.
Okay.
I don't know what the number of it is, but anyway, it was a. I mean, they drew pretty damn good for this whole weekend. That was
Yes.
they were 25th in the league before Tuesday night, and the only teams I've talked about that this week. The only teams they were ahead of were Miami, the worst baseball town ever, Sacramento, and Oakland. I mean, Oakland and Tampa, both lousy baseball places, and now playing in different ballparks.
Right.
And then Pittsburgh, which has been terrible drawing baseball town for a long time because of their teams. And who else they had? I guess
White
anyway.
Sox.
Oh, the White Sox, yeah, the Mighty Whiteys
But
who lost 121 last year.
right.
Colorado, though, man, they just hit the halfway point. I mean, not the halfway, the point. They won 21 games. I think they're behind the White Sox pace, aren't they?
Yes.
From last year,
Yes.
I
They
think
are.
they're gonna. They got the White. Just think, the White Sox last year set an all-time record with 121 losses. Now, it wasn't the worst ever because the Mets were 40 and 120, and they were 41 and 121. So they had a slightly better winning percentage. But uh, Colorado's got a fighting chance to beat that record, in
Mm-hmm.
the next year. So what has happened to baseball in just the last several years that you can have team, it used to be you're going to win. You're going to win 30%, you're going to lose 30%, and then the other 40% are going to decide, whatever. How'd baseball get to the point that we can have the Cleveland Spiders, we're
Yeah.
1898 or whatever that was. What's going on? I don't get it.
I have no idea, but yeah. So the Twins get Colorado coming out of the All Star break too.
Yes, yes. Now, I still think Colorado, when you look at the lineup, isn't quite as pathetic as the White Sox were last year, but they 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 certainly are playing that way. I know several people from Minnesota are actually going out for that series. I guess they love the ballpark,
Great
and
ballpark.
the mountains. You drive out and you do that. But uh, everybody was shocked that they the Colorado Blue drew 40,000 last week. Well, they got a fireworks display and you got the mountains in the background, and every everybody buys tickets for that game in February. They didn't have but the Rockies, Judd. This has been a long bad period, man.
Mm-hmm.
Long bad period for them. So anyway, the Fighting Twinks are. I got an admission to make though. I have not watched 1 minute of the summer league. I have avoided the summer league, not intentionally,
Yeah.
just that I never had the urge to go look and see who's playing. Have you watched any summer league?
Yeah, I've watched the Wolves games. I don't watch the other games, but TJ Shannon on Saturday putting on a clinic.
Oh, did
He's
he?
the Michael Jordan of that league because
Summer
nobody
league.
else is as good as him.
Oh, yeah, and ours old.
Right?
He's
Yeah, true.
he's 25, I think now, or something like. Because he had a 5-year college career, right? I think
He's
that's why.
older than Ant, right?
Huh?
By a few months.
Yeah, he's older than
He's
that.
got Ant beat by a few months.
But that's one reason he fell in the draft too, is that he was old. But if you're over 20, they don't want you. But yeah, he's gonna get his time. And how's my guy Leonard Miller look? Has he looked okay, or are
It's
they?
okay, but they don't. I mean, he just doesn't play that. When Finchie doesn't really play him that much, and I don't know. He's gonna. He might be the Luca Garza replacement or something like that.
And it isn't the Luca replacement's probably going to be the Frenchman, right?
Oh, the
Isn't that
Frenchman's impressive, Pat. That kid can. That kid
as an athlete? Huh?
but I mean, he's got here's his thing. He's 4 years into playing basketball. He's got pretty good basketball savvy, and the other thing is, unlike Gobert, his countrymen, he's got hands,
That would be
not
nice.
mallets. He's got real hands. They'll
So,
work.
in other words, you can throw him the ball more
Yeah,
than 2 feet away from the basket. So,
yeah, he'll catch the ball.
but Rudy's one of his heroes, right? He loves Rudy, or he's smart enough to say he loves Rudy. Anyway.
Yeah, he said he loves him. I
So,
have no
so
idea if that's true.
Rudy can be his mentor, and wow, it's we won't, you know, we you can forget about seeing him next winter though.
Right.
The Finchie ain't gonna. Finchie, he's not gonna put an 18-year-old kid out there for God's sakes.
I'm curious.
Is Finchie around? Does he go
Oh yeah,
to every game?
courtside.
Sits near there. Okay.
He's courtside. Ant was there with Nas on Saturday. I am far more curious about what the program is going to be for Dillingham
Okay. Yeah,
with
and
Finchie.
he's far more important to this
Oh
team
yeah.
too. What I don't know. They're gonna trade. They're gonna make the October trade again, don't you think? No, I think something's
You think
coming.
for a point guard or a
For
guy
a
that can
point
handle
guard, yeah.
the
For
ball?
a
Yeah.
guard, yeah. Somebody who can, I think if you want a DiVincenzo and somebody else, you can make them. They give them to you for a point guard who can play some. So that would be my guess anyway. So the Vikings start Wednesday, and everything else now goes to the back burner. But tell me about training camp. Are there just certain days that the public is there?
Uh, it's
Or does
a week from Wednesday. So a week from this Wednesday. The first couple of days are no fans, and then on Saturday, fans can start to attend, and pretty much after that, the practices through like the middle of August are open
open? So, and
for
is
a
that,
fee, of course.
yeah, which, when did they ever start charging in Mankato to
No,
maybe sit in the stands or something, or just no?
no. Well, there used to be a rule because shockingly, Dan Snyder of Washington, back in like the early 2000s or 2005, 6, he started to charge. But the rule was if you charged, other teams could come buy tickets and watch you and scout you.
Oh,
They
really?
changed
Okay.
that rule so you can now charge without the threat, I think, of teams coming to scout you.
So teams can come to scout you, but they can't get caught. Is that it, or
No,
what?
I don't think they can. I think they all agreed that you could charge, but no one would scout practices. So I think it's a gentleman's
You
agreement. It,
do you think that Harbaugh would be would
of course not.
have his guy there?
You think
You
the
know,
Packers aren't? If I'm the Packers, I'm going to send a guy down
yes,
Highway 29 to 94, and I'm going to scout your
sure.
ass.
What he can just sit there and with a cell phone now, you don't need to be making notes. You can just kind of look down at your
That's
cell
true.
phone, and you can look down at your cell phone and type up some notes. Not that it, you know. I've always thought that was nonsense anyway. That what are we looking for? That J.J. McCarthy when he throws right as a slow delivery or something. I mean that's
I think
what
they're
we're
looking for
looking.
formational personnel type of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
it's the paranoia about it probably outweighs the reality of how much you're giving away.
And when training camp ends, you still have about 10 days before you play a game, right? Don't you? I mean,
No,
you
no,
have
you
at
play a
least a
game.
week.
You play a game and then training camp, and so the last two training camp practices for the Vikings are, I think, before their second preseason game,
No,
joint
no.
practices against the Patriots.
But that's what I'm saying is that the regular season is like weeks away and
Oh yeah,
everything's
yes,
closed, so you
yes,
don't have to do any of your secret formations, during training camp anyway. So it's
correct.
so what are they getting for you? I suppose they make charge you to park too, right?
You know what? I don't know because we've got a pass for parking.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good question. I don't know. I just know that they charge now to attend the practices.
Well, they really need it. They just the NFL just is, it's a really low budget low budget operation here. Let's see. So the Lakers just sold for 10 billion, and the Tampa Bay Rays sold for 1 point are going to sell for 1.7. What is your worst NFL franchise worth now? 15?
I was going to say that Lakers price has to raise all of those
Yes,
of the
yes,
football teams, right? I
yeah.
mean, I would imagine.
Ziggy paid 600 million,
Yeah,
650, something like that.
I think 650 to red.
And it's way over 10 now, way over 10 billion. And they still want us to give them how many million to for security for to it 20 million to keep improving it a year or something. What is the
I
figure
forget.
for
I don't
to
remember.
keep improving the
Yeah,
dome?
yep.
Who's going to stand up and say, fellas, any dome improvement is on you? You know?
Well, how about all of the stadium stuff here now? Between
Oh yeah,
the Wild didn't get the cash that they were
nothing.
trying to get for improvements. They got nothing. I mean, A Rod and Lori say they're going to build an arena or pay to build, but I mean that's still not the land.
No.
Like there's a lot.
Well, here's my deal, though. How long is the lease for the Wild in St. Paul?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
How long it
don't
is.
know.
I mean, and you know, they got a pretty sweet deal. They sell it out, everybody, and Woodbury comes.
Right.
But if these guys get miffed and they find a nice place in the suburbs and they decide to build the most glorious arena in sports and surround it by a town. I mean, apartments and the whole damn thing. You could end up with both of them out there. We always talk about the Wolves. You could. This could be a.
Oh, that'll
This
be a
could be.
threat.
This could be a Leopold, Laurie, A. Rod, Bloomberg deal. It.
That'll be
You
a
know,
threat for sure.
yeah, out in the suburbs. We don't have to worry about big town politics anymore. If we want to shoot off fireworks in the town on July 4th, we can do it because we don't have a mayor who's worried about it in St. Paul. And yeah, I don't. If Leopold decides to get feisty, who knows? What was hit? Their deal is gonna the full improvement. read the piece that they wanted to have front facing restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
And
they scaled back the
I
ask,
know
but
they did. At the end, all they wanted was just a new ramp to get the trucks in there for their shows, right?
and the
But
concourses
and
expanded.
50 million, yeah.
Yeah, but they wanted originally, I think that they wanted improvements to not just the hockey arena, but the River Center as well. And then I think that they did want front facing shops, and I also think that they wanted to tear down the parking ramp across the street there and build
Yes.
like hotels or a hotel or something like that.
And the old ramp or the new one, the
The
newer one.
old one, the old Civic Center ramp.
They can't turn that. This is a historic. We should declare it a
I know. I
historic
love that ramp.
site. It is. It is. You always wonder. You always hope. See, now you go to 42 games, so you got a higher risk than me. But you always wonder: is this the night it's going to collapse?
Yep. And
You
hopefully I'll
always
be inside, but then I'm going to have to get home.
Yes, right. You're gonna have, and the cabs will be really hard to flag down if it collapses and there's 18,000 people there. But it was the goofiest ramp ever built when it was built. I mean, it was.
Yep.
Now it's. I told you that one time this year I allowed myself to be distracted. I think I left like with 10 minutes to go in the third period and I managed to get going the wrong direction upstairs. Went up there because
Yep.
when you go left, we gotta watch your p's and q's there because if you go on the wrong one, this guy's yelling at me, and I said, "It's too late now. I gotta hope somebody because I'm halfway up the thing. What are you gonna do? Back down?" You know.
So you're going the wrong way. Well, they still have the netting for it was like 10 years ago a piece of brick fell
Yes,
off
yes,
and they
yes,
closed it for a while and what they
yes.
did was they installed netting and that
Mhm.
netting is still there. But yeah, it is a relic of the 70s including and you always hear people ask about this. Are we on 4.5?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
they're
four and a half or
because they're
five
all
and a half.
halves. Three and a
Yeah.
half?
Yeah, yes, I missed that a few times. You remember where you parked, and then you go to that spot, and it's not there, and you say, "Oh, am I one up or one down now on
That
that?"
would be a great column. Find out who
Yes.
designed that sucker and why, because it is so 70s.
Well, and then back in the day, you had what did they do with the tunnel? Why did they get rid of the tunnel?
Where was the tunnel? In 3 or 4?
No, no, the tunnel you went in on the floor level, the
Right.
tunnel.
There
Yeah,
was no skyway. That
no.
skyway didn't exist. It was a tunnel that went through to the lobby, but I'm trying to remember, was it connected at 3 or 4?
Oh, well, you took the tunnel and then you had to ride up to the lobby, wherever the hell that was. There was
No, you just
just,
walked through and then you walked up an incline. I'm,
okay, that's right. And then there was also, if you wanted to go to a certain, there was a big area of nothingness there when you
yes.
got there. And
There was a ticket office
yes,
and that was it cuz then they also had that big old damn garage door that would open and close between
yes,
like sessions of the state tournaments.
yes, yes. Hey, I wonder what the original tab on that place was.
Oh, the
Wonder what
Civic
we
Center?
spent on that place. I'll have to look that up. 73, because the Fighting Saints played in the auditorium for what, a year or most of a year, right? And then they moved to the Civic Center next door. But it was it's quite a piece of history, that ramp. There's no doubt about that. So
I'm with you though. Let's preserve that thing because they're going to tear
yes,
that thing down at the drop of a hat now, and we
yes.
should fight to preserve the WHA that's left in St. Paul, and that's it.
And by the way, the other great thing about that location is when you say, "I'm going to take the Shepherd Road here," because it's,
Yep.
rather than go up,
Oh God.
you're fine unless they have trains coming. And the trains, I told you I came that route because I was getting there kind of late for a game, and the trains were going to miles an hour, trying to turn
Wow.
left there. And this train, I could have walked next to it. It was going so slow, and it had to be 20 minutes of just endless, because some of those trains down there are just 250 cars on them. And when I made my famous train ride with that almost cost me this always shaky marriage, down to Chicago, you leave St. Paul, you're finally there, and now you're on the river, and you're going like 8. What are they waiting for? What? Let's kick it in gear. It's a thing. It's the first 10 miles take 40 minutes. What are we doing? Hit the accelerator. Let's go here. What the hell? It's
That's where the bar car, the time that I went to a
yes.
Cubs series, became very important.
Oh
The
yeah,
bar
that was
car,
the
I didn't care if we were going slow, not going at
no,
all.
that's right. That's stuck out in the woods. I wrote that I thought we're out in the woods, we're out in the weeds there waiting for the freight train to come by for like 45 minutes. And I envisioned these zombies like looking up, some of these old zombie movies, looking up above the weeds, trying to decide if they're going to attack us or not. In the thing, that was a great experience, though, because it's so memorably awful. And then we get there, and it's 100 in Chicago. That's it was the day that the Saturday game. 3 guys left because of heat, and winding up with Willens Astudillo
Yeah,
playing center field in his major
Kepler.
league debut.
Kepler
Kepler
had to
had to
leave. I
heat.
remember
Yeah,
that.
Kepler had to leave.
So
Yeah.
the answer to your question is the Civic Center did open on January 1st of 1973, was built at a cost of $19 million, dollars,
Wow, that was a pretty good hunk of change back then, man.
the
Yeah.
equivalent of $143 million dollars in
And I think the great
2024.
John Friedman was the original director, right? He ended up answering all the questions. I think it was John Friedman.
And I think it was designed after the Fabulous Forum. Is that right?
Hmm.
I I think they stole
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
the idea from there.
They forgot one thing that was very important to us wide sports writers, though. There was no elevator
Ah,
up to the press center, and
oh
Charlie
yeah.
Charlie Hallman, Such always said he used to tack. He would come up like go this way and then go that way to stay on that lower level as long as he could. It was awful to get up there, man.
I remember seeing him at one point. He would take a break halfway up and go sit down in a seat for a while.
And maybe if it was early enough, sneak a heater.
Oh heck yeah, yeah. Back then, Camel
Yeah.
filterless.
I wonder if you could still smoke in an arena in 72, 73. What, can we
Oh
could we
yeah,
still smoke then? Yeah.
yes, yeah. In fact, when I started to go to North Star games in the late '70s, early '80s, you could smoke in the concourse.
Yeah. Really?
Oh
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But the most phenomenal thing to me is you look at Williams Arena, right? And it's 1928. And in the 60s, and there'd be a cloud. If they had a full house, and there'd be a cloud of smoke upstairs. You have no aisles hardly at all. It's all wood, and you got people in there. You think they're putting them out safely, or are they just stomping? Are they just putting them down below their feet and twisting them a little bit and hoping the ashes are out? Everybody, how that place never had the fire of the century, I'll have no idea, man.
oh, that
Unbelievable.
place was incredible. But you go back and look at pictures of the old hockey games and basketball games, and like you can almost see the cloud of smoke
Yes. Oh
because
God. Yeah. Oh yeah.
like
The high school tournament.
yeah,
There'd be 18,000, and it'd be hanging up.
but
If
like
you watch the old film of Edgerton and Austin in the famous game where they had almost 19,000, you can see the you can see the smoke up there. It's incredible. So I'm writing a column for this week for your guy Jim Peck, Mr.
yeah,
Legion Baseball. He's 85 now, and you were kind of his right-hand man there for what,
I was the-
4 or
I
5 years?
Yeah, I was the equipment guy because I knew
Okay.
I couldn't play, and I thought, you know what, this looks like a pretty good team. So yes,
Yeah.
I was the equipment guy and bat boy for about 4 or 5 years.
And they were. I was reading that story you told me about when he went to Europe in '84. You went with him, right?
I went with him. Yep, it was
Tommy
great.
Breyer. They found me this piece that Tommy Breyer went, and he led with a budget of some guy who had a Minneapolis Legion team, who had an $800 budget, and Peck had raised like 45,000 or something.
We we had to deliver phone books, Pat, and
Oh,
there was nothing worse because you got a
oh,
huge list of addresses
okay,
and would go down to the local ballpark where they would have left the trailer trucks, right, with
yes,
nothing but phone books in them.
okay.
And this was
And
the
so Peck, he
arranged it.
franchised you guys out to
Yes.
do some fundraising, right?
Yes, if we wanted to travel and do those things, we had to deliver phone books. And God bless her, my mom would drive me around in our 1979 station wagon, loaded up with phone books, weighing that thing down, and I had to go to each doorstep and throw it on the doorstep. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was telling me some of the ways they still raise money. It's basically the Minnetonka team, but the Post was Excelsior, right? Because
Correct.
he said it was the only Legion club within the Minnetonka school district was Excelsior. But that they now have 300 teams in the state still, because you don't need a Post. You can have one. But they Minnesota still has the most 18 19 and under Legion teams in the country, but they also have this competition from travel ball. So I'm sure as the summer progresses, most people lose some players and stuff. But it's it is I mean, right now, tomorrow they will wind up their 57th annual Gopher Classic, and this year they had 96 teams at 16 sites. And in 3 days they play down to 16, right? Because they
Hmm.
put everybody in a bracket. I don't know what they do when they have lousy weather, when they get rain and stuff. But and then everything goes out to Veterans Stadium out in Minnetonka, which is beautiful now, by the way. Were you? Is that where you guys played your games when you were there?
No, no. When I started with the team in '82 or '3, they played at the high school, but it was up on a hill, and that it was
Mhm.
sunbaked. I mean, that
Okay.
infield
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
incredibly
he said it was the
dangerous.
worst field in
It
baseball.
was. It was a terrible field. And then they eventually moved out in the '80s, around '84, to Big Willow and Hopkins
Oh yeah,
on Minnetonka Boulevard.
yeah,
Veterans came along way after me.
yeah.
And the Gopher Classic back in my day was played at Bennett Field off of 101,
Where
which is if you're driving down.
is that there now or not?
Yep, yep. If you drive down 101 in Minnetonka, it's between
Okay.
Highway 7 and Minnetonka Boulevard. But
Yeah.
it was so small. The park was so small that those kids would hit home runs left and right. So it wasn't a place that they could play games ordinarily. But no, veterans came along. What was it, the late '90s?
I don't know. And then they put the turf in, and it's in
Yeah.
great shape now. It's great now for the turf. I think Cambria donated some, and some other companies donated a lot, and it's in it's in good shape. But anyway, he's a lasting character, that's for sure. 57 years. It started as an 8-team tournament. Now it's got 96.
I was a little kid, and he was actually our drugstore guy,
Hmm.
Deep Haven Drug. And my mom went there, and he would always he's been a character forever. He would always give me crap. I was like 4, so I didn't get it. But then I like baseball, and I found out about this. And yeah, he started with the Legion team in the late '70s.
Yeah, he's 57. I think it's 57 years or
Yeah, I
something
think he
like
coached
that.
Babe Ruth in the '60s.
Yes, yeah, he did. He coached that beforehand. Anyway, we ought to run here.
Yes, so sell me a car before we go.
Yes, I happened to be out watching my grandson's kids game. 14-year-old tournament game. They lost a heartbreaker. He pitched pretty good, but out in Apple Valley. So I drove through the lot to see how the inventory was looking at Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. A lot of those SUVs I've been telling you about. The new car place was fantastic. But then I drove by the used car place too. I saw some really primo used cars there that have been traded in probably for Buick SUVs. Even a nice looking Range Rover SUV I saw there that got traded in for a Buick. So anyway, right now is the time. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers in Apple Valley, right at the end of Cedar Road, Cedar Avenue, as you go out there, 140th Street. And as I said, I was out there yesterday. Made it. You can still get out there. The traffic's not as bad going there. Right now, low interest rates, high rebates, and a tremendous amount of stock. And Buick has 3 or 4 different kinds of SUVs for you, including the very popular Vista. So I recommend them highly. Go out and take a look.
Excellent. Talk to you on Wednesday, Patrick.
All righty. See you.
See ya.